Hello, everyone. My name is Kyle,
Man,
I'm Alex.
I'm Rachel.
Miss Tony.
and we are Pseudo Adults. Hello, welcome to episode 156 of the Pseudo Adults program. This is a podcast. It's everywhere that you can find podcasts, and you can also subscribe to Pseudo Adults on Twitter.
If you're a fan of this Zoomy Poomy, do me a favor and check if you are subscribed and a member to Space Sandbox. Oh wait, you have to be a member to watch this. Thank you so much. And we have so much other content on our channel, so please check out our other stuff. The most important thing you could do is share it to other people that you think would also like our content. Much love. Thank you.
Patsy.
If you're a pop culture fan looking to level up in life, check out Inner Warrior on YouTube.
Very good. All right. So, it's been a whole week, you guys. I just want to, what have you been up to? I see we're still doing this Zoom format, so Alex has still got some construction going on. But just how was your week?
Been crazy. I got thrown in the ocean. Now I'm living with SpongeBob.
That's great.
Consistently trying to break up drama. Consistently.
Oh my God. Endless battle. And Tony's still slowly burning up in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Yep. Re-entry's bitch.
When did you realize you had Frieza-like abilities and could breathe in space?
Well, I mean, it happened. It was late last week. I think it was on Thursday. I think I was like, hey, you know what? I feel like trying to jump up into space, and I tried it, and it apparently worked. I wasn't sure if I was going to die or if it was going to work. So
I think
Cool.
we're gonna see the Superman just flying
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
The part of that sentence I hung on to was, I think it's Thursday, which means you're watching the cycles of the sun go around the earth, and you're really trying
You
to
go
figure out what
one, two.
Tuesday? What Thursday? Whoa.
Yep.
How did it work with Superman where he reversed the world and made time go in reverse?
Oh yeah. He spun the Earth backwards.
Yep.
Everyone knows that makes time go backwards.
Of course.
Speaking of time going backwards, there's no particular reason why every story that we're talking about that may seem new is from 4 weeks ago. It's just if there's been anything new, we just don't care right now. We'll see if we care in our next episode.
Yeah.
But for now, I want to hear about stuff like the new Wednesday show,
Yeah.
Tim Burton. Yeah.
It's a very good show. I actually went in being like, oh, this is going to be like Sabrina, the Teenage Witch. I was like, it's going to be something like that. I actually enjoyed it a fair bit. Tony watched with me. Did you enjoy it, Tony?
I did. I was actually quite surprised that I enjoyed it as much as I did.
I don't know why I was waiting for him to say no.
No.
I was just waiting for no reaction, this was Dora the Explorer.
Yeah, a lot of the episodes it kept you on your feet. You were like, I can't just end there. It was you have to watch the next one.
Okay. So I have to ask this.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think the dancing scene is?
It's hilarious.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, it's funny. You're like,
Good.
oh, Jesus
Good.
Christ. You're like,
It's played off as silly.
Yeah.
yeah.
Golden. I got to give this show a shot because that's the
Yeah,
only scene I
it's
saw
good.
from it, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
Oh.
You know, the girl who plays Wendy actually choreographed that by watching goth kids dance in the 90s in clubs. So she would watch them dance and take their dance moves. So she choreographed that whole scene by herself.
Mm.
It's actually enjoyable. It has some older characters that you see different people playing them, obviously. I enjoyed the way the characters played them, and they weren't so outlandish that they were not believable. There's a lot of characters that I actually enjoyed, and I was like, oh, I was really on edge being like, is there going to be another season? Because this is so good. They couldn't just end it.
Wow.
It apparently broke Stranger Thing records. It's
Yeah.
I don't know how it picked up such a fan base so quickly, but I mean, There's been an animated Adams Family that I remember like
Yeah.
kids trick or treating were trick or treating as Wednesday and Pugsley like last
Mhm.
year. I'm like, what's keeping this alive? Is this animated stuff?
Yeah, it's like animated movies. I never saw them. I wanted to, but I never
So I think this is
got to.
capitalizing on that in a really good timing, smart way.
I
And
think the cast that they cast is really good because I know we had all these like handsomer men playing the dad, like in
yeah,
older movies,
oh
but in
yeah,
the comics, the original comics, he looked like the character they cast in
Mm.
this one. Like she was pretty and he was like short,
Luis,
rounder,
yeah,
like he was like,
Guzman.
yeah, he was not like the best looking, but that's what the show is. So I'm like, I like who they cast. The guy they cast looks like the guy from the actual original cartoon that they did of them. So I was
Wow.
like, okay, they did it good.
Wow.
They did add some of the older characters, one of the older characters who played Wednesday in the movie in the show.
Hmm.
The it's a good twist. It has good twists, and like I mean, like I predicted it just because I watched so much stuff that I'm like, okay, I know exactly who it is. But if somebody doesn't watch the shows, it's good. Throws you through a loop to try to figure out what's going on. Tony,
Is it
Yeah,
better than
so
Sandman?
what'd you say?
Is it better than Sandman?
I think they're
Mm,
very different shows. I don't know if you can
yeah,
compare it in that way.
yeah, they're
But
not. One's like dark and funny, and one's just like dark. Like Sandman's darker, and this is more like it has its moments, its funny moments. You root for other characters, you feel for other characters.
so I think what sells the show is just Wednesday's personality, because I think like as you go through the show, I felt like that was the most entertaining piece of it, and that's what made the rest of the show work out so well, is because you want to see how she interacts with everybody. Like even the way that she interacts with as she's unraveling the mystery of the show, you get to see how she uses people, and um how she interacts with like the different, like they try to give her like love interest, how that works out, and like all that kind of stuff. I think that's very interesting, the way that she is very like there's a lesson in there, right? She does learn a lesson throughout the show, but it's good in that like just the banter that they write for her is very well written.
Hmm.
And just go ahead. You gonna say something, Rachel? I see you
Uh,
trying to say something.
I forgot already, but go ahead. Keep going. I forgot. It's gone. All right.
Go
It's
on.
gone.
It's gone.
Yeah, but
One.
so like I was saying, like after we finished the show, I was telling Rachel, I'm like, if they wrote a Lex Luthor show like this, it would take off the same, because you can use her personality for like versions of Lex where he thinks, oh, I'm like the smartest guy in the room and all that kind of stuff, and it would still work out. Like I think that's part of it's almost like a house, right? Where he's like the guy that's like he has a it's not like I don't know how to explain it, but it's like that personality of like it's not meshing with everyone else, but because he's so competent in everything he does, that
Yeah.
it's like it makes it interesting. It's like that's what they do on Wednesday, right?
I
So
feel like this show is a better Sabrina the Witch show. I feel like if they did it like this, then that show would be good.
But
if they
yeah. I get what you're saying, but from the description, isn't Sabrina supposed to be the more like lighthearted character
and it
stuff?
isn't, and the
Yeah,
show isn't. It's like really dark, and I'm like, I
exactly.
need something. I
Do
need
you
some
think that
like.
the Wednesday approach of making
Yes.
her more of like this, like
I think she's a down to earth character. I think that's what makes the show what it is. She is like stone faced, but you can tell that that's like. I feel like that's just a way for her to keep people at bay. Like I feel like she is like that, but she does have emotions, and it's like her transformation into realizing like just because she feels this way, she can let other people in. It's like it's a good journey. I like it. I like the show. We finished it in like 2 to 3 days. Like it wasn't that many episodes, to be honest. It's like 7 or 8.
eight episodes.
gotta
Yeah.
The standard Netflix 8
Yeah.
episode thing.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm coming off of like other shows, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I would recommend it.
Whoa.
Okay. I've seen an episode and change of it. And I think part of the intrigue of the show is sort of like connecting like what you know about Adam's Family, whether from like the OG like series. I mean, I guess there's comics, or like the 90s, was it the 90s movies?
It's 90s movies,
Christopher Lloyd and all that.
Mhm.
To what they're doing with this. So it's like it initially presents itself like, I guess, like the Addams Family were always like they had their kooky house and their kooky characters, but they were very much like they go out into the real world and it's the real world. Like it's like they're the outcasts, they're like the ones who like supernatural things only happen, involving them. I don't know if there's exceptions to that, but that's kind of like where I'm coming from. So to something very outlandish happens, something very out there happens like very early in like the first scene of the show, where I was just like, this is what this show is. It's why Wednesday gets kicked out of her previous school. And so I was like, oh, that was very strange and cartoony. And then by the end of the first episode, you start having a better idea of this world that the characters are in, and it's not the real world by any means.
Yeah. It has people who are like are different. They call them
they call them X-Men students.
Yeah, they call them X-Men. Tony had made that joke as soon as we watched it. I was like, stop it.
Very much. Yeah. No,
so they have like normies, they call them normal people, and they have people who are like sirens, they have vampires, they have like all this like what else do they have? They have cryptids, I think they're called. It's just like she gets sent to the school that is spooky. All her parents went to that school. That's how they met.
Yeah.
So it's just a spooky school. So I feel like in that context, it makes sense. Like I was like, it makes like the Addams Family situation, and then like moving probably to a town that's like normal people makes sense. Because it's not like they're like in plain sight, all these cryptids. They're like,
fair.
They're like,
it's at least this town.
Yeah.
I mean, from what I know from the first episode, so maybe it's not the world as a whole, but at least this town that they're in,
at least this town
is in, has got some interesting things that like kind of set a good vibe. The actress who plays Wednesday, I only know from our Pseudo Adults recordings of looking shit up on IMDb as you talk about it, so I could like just be like, I don't know anything, but here's a cast member or like pictures to like familiarize myself. She was in, was it the X?
X movie, and I think also Scream 5.
It's horror background.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I also like how they make them Spanish, and I was like, yeah, because Gomez, that actually makes sense.
Yep.
To the character. Like I think the character in the comics was Spanish to begin with. Like he was darker than everybody. So it makes sense. I like how they follow up on that. I like how they show like she's like the still, even in this school, she's like the odd person out. Even in this school, like she's like always wears black, like never like she's still the odd person out. But you can tell she's smarter than like.
Here's my question: does this feel like a Tim Burton project to you?
In the beginning, yeah. I think it doesn't feel as kooky. Like I feel like it's like a Tim Burton grounded show. Whether he wrote it or not, or just was there to like help, I don't know. Because I know a lot of his projects, he's like there to help. Like I think it's Nightmare Before Christmas. He didn't really like.
He didn't direct.
He didn't write it. Yeah, he like was just there to like supervise kind of thing. But he put his name on it because he was working on, I think, Beetlejuice at the same time. I think
it's creative vision versus who actually directs it.
Mm-hmm. I think somebody else might direct it. Personally, it's not as kooky as like his other stuff. It's like more kooky and grounded. Where it's like it's not relatable, but I don't know.
I can look it up.
Yeah, I don't know. His name is on it, but
he at least directed the first episode.
Yeah, his name is on it, and then his name disappears through the episode. So I was like, I wonder if he just started it and then went, "All right, your turn."
I think different people directed different episodes of the show. I think that's what it was.
Okay.
Probably. That's usually how TV goes.
Yeah,
Mm.
Yeah.
unless you're James Gunn or like the showrunner who wants to have like full creative control and like direct everything. That's a huge undertaking that most people wouldn't want to do.
He
Mhm.
directs 4 of the 8 episodes, and
Okay.
he serves as executive producer.
That's
Mm.
what I thought. I
I
was
mean,
like,
whoever
he.
directs the first episode like kind of sets the creative vision
Mhm.
for everyone else.
And of course, if you get a big name like Tim Burton, you're gonna not say no to that.
Mm-mm.
You're gonna go, oh,
Excuse me.
absolutely, yes, please.
How many times did Johnny Depp or Helena Bonham Carter show up?
0.
Wow.
Oh my God,
They're not
spoilers.
even in this project.
This
So,
isn't Tim
yeah.
Burton.
Yeah, it's not a real Tim Burton project.
It's I like it. I like, it also shows like family dynamic of like how the family actually gets along. Usually it's just like in the movie, it was like, oh, they're all just family and that's it.
Yeah.
There's actually internal conflict within the whole family that, it plays a role, through certain episodes that
Yeah.
they like learn to come to understand each other. And how people, I think it's funny that people actually react to them, the mom and dad always making out with each other all the time. Like they're like, oh, Jesus Christ. They're like, Jesus. They're like, all right, you're good, breathe, in front of people, like how you should react to something like that. But anything else, Tony, you have to say?
No, yeah, I think everyone should give it a shot. I really enjoyed it.
It's a fun show.
It's a very fun show. I I don't have that much of like comparison. I had the feeling this has vibes of a CW teeny bop
Mhm.
show, like a
Mhm.
Riverdale or something like that.
Mhm.
So that was like the only thing that was like jarring-ish to be like, I don't know if this is made for me, but I could still find it entertaining.
I think it
Um,
goes beyond like I think it starts as like a CW and then it like goes where CW should go with
Yeah.
stuff, you know?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
But I was like, the realm of perspective I have is Cobra Kai, and I was like,
Mm.
their silly kid interactions and not getting along give me Cobra Kai vibes.
Yeah, you're like if you like Cobra Kai, you'll like yeah.
Yeah,
I was like
100%.
you'll like
Great
this.
show.
Yeah.
No, the thing that happens towards the end of episode 1 in regards to let's just say something very CGI I thought looked really cool, so I'm
Mm.
excited. I guess that's what sets up the like a mystery element to the show.
Mhm.
Like, how is this possible? What's going on?
Mhm.
It brings up a lot of cool questions, so it just sort of ropes you in to keep watching.
It makes you even care about the character that's just a hand thing.
Oh
It
yeah,
makes you care about
Yeah.
that character.
my favorite joke from episode 1 was when she does the fencing and they're like, oh, how'd you get so good at that? She's like, my uncle taught me. He spent like 8 years at a like a monk monastery in Tibet, and they're like, whoa, he lived with them. She's like, no, they kept him prisoner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which in that later on in the episodes they do talk more about Uncle Fester,
Yeah.
which I enjoy because I enjoyed the movies and I was like, oh, and he's played by a specific character actor that
Oh, they
everybody
bring him in?
knows. Yeah, they
Yeah.
do. I
Oh,
mean,
they-
eventually, not to spoil it, but they do. I'm not going to say who the actor is or what goes on, but you could see it from the titles of the episodes if you just go down. It's not
Okay.
really spoiler because they show his face in one of the
Okay.
previews.
I mean, whatever.
Yeah. It so good. We finished it and I was like, that's it. Wait more. You're like, I gotta wait for the next season. Oh, it's so good. And it leaves it up to, I think the ending was like you could end it here or you could continue going, kind of thing, which is nice. I like when shows do that, just in case it doesn't like end up
Yeah, becoming number
like
1 on
working
Netflix.
out. Yeah, so it could just be like you're not like, oh man, I never knew what happened to this character. Kind of like that.
I like Gwendolyn Christie's role in this show more than her role in Sandman, if that helps.
Mm.
I think she plays the
Yes.
character fine. I think we need to spend more time with her Sandman character for me
Yeah.
to understand better.
Yeah.
To be fair, I don't want to like say like it was shallow or something. We spent very little time with it, and they had
Mm.
their fun fight, I'm gonna call it, in
Yeah.
that show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's a very like well, I don't know. She's just a very good character in this show, from what I'm
Yeah,
gathering. I've only
like
seen a
even
little
the
bit.
kids that you're fighting with, that she's fighting with in conflict, they like all like they go through all the characters, like all their conflicts, like all the not at the same time either, which is nice. Like it's like slowly you see within the episode like one or two
Yeah.
characters have like their thing, but it's not always like a million characters going through a million plots. You know, I like it, so I suggest it.
There you go.
Man, that's
Eh,
wild.
Yeah.
Great. So, the only other things I have on the agenda are video game related, unless anyone else has any other movies or shows that they've seen.
I mean, I know everybody's been watching the Wednesday show, but like there's a personal show I've been very passionate about in terms of like watching and trying to make sure I'm catching up on, because it's been like explained to me in like a similar way of like how excited people are for it and everything. So I've been watching Fuckboy Island. And surprisingly, that's the show that I'm going to people. I'm like, you gotta watch this show. I described it like you guys described Wednesday Addams. I'm like, this show is the craziest thing you're gonna watch.
Here's my question: are you starting from season 1, or are you jumping into season 2?
I'm doing both. So I'm watching season 2 and catching up on season 1.
Nice.
Season 2 is absolutely insane. This guy does like an actual real life Jedi mind trick. I've never seen it done before. He convinces a man to tell a girl that he passively said in conversation that he thought she would be a dumb blonde type, but he's surprisingly not. And the guy's like, bro, you gotta tell her.
Yeah. He's like, gotta tell her, just because it's going to come out in the long run anyways at some point or another. So you might as well just get it out before she hears it from somebody else. And the guy's like, huh.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
So, what's really funny,
He's immediately kicked out.
yeah, he's kicked out the same night. So it's really funny because the guys are like, yeah, you know, someone's gonna tell her. He's like, yeah, but I only said in front of you guys. Are you guys gonna tell her? They're like, no, we would never tell her. But it's gonna get out eventually, so you might as well get ahead of it. And like almost immediately after he said it, and they switch his mind, and he gets kicked out the same fucking night. It's so funny, bro.
Wow.
And there's more of that that's happening as you go, and like it's good.
When you guys told me that you're watching season 2, I told my wife, and she was like, "What?" So we're going to be watching FBI Island season 2. Probably start very shortly. That'll be our dumb unwind show after watching something more dramatic, and look forward to that. Next, and we're gonna have to let our local fan club know that, you know, we're all just gonna be watching it separately. So we don't want anyone to have FOMO about FBI Island season 2. Next question about it: are you watching the lick lips?
Yeah, there's not as much in season 2.
Oh,
But I mean,
there-
we've seen the girls do it a few times, which is interesting.
girls are doing it. Wow.
Yeah,
From an
but
outside perspective, that sounds really wrong.
it's exactly what you think.
Oh.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Yeah, because all the guys are thirsty in that show.
Yeah.
Oh.
Is there a new like thing that you pick up on when they're like, you know, like trying to like look hot or sexy instead of the licking lips? Are they doing something else, or like flexing their pecs or something stupid?
Apparently, it's this stupid outfit that they wear that defines them.
Is it the Geordie Shore shirt?
Almost.
Oh, romp him?
Yeah, it's like the romp him.
Oh, wow.
In this
Ew.
one, if you wear a romp him, apparently you're like the fuck boy. That's what the women were saying too. They're like, oh, we see him in that 2-piece. He's a fuck boy. It's like, whoa.
It'd be funny if they're correct 100% of the time.
Yeah. So far, they've been like pretty good on like figuring out who they're trying to kick out. Even though the trend of both season 1 and 2 is like, I really want to find someone that I can find love with and like be with, but fuck these nice guys. They got to get out of here. It's like, wait. And just so everyone knows how I watch it. I'm watching it like this on the couch. As I see all these people shredded and ripped, I'm like basically got a 6-pack on my lap.
Yeah. Watching that first season in North Carolina for our friend's wedding was like the most strange, interesting TV show watching experience. I don't really watch shows in like a group environment very often, so it could have been anything. I guess we could have watched the Paris Hilton cooking show as a full group as well. That it could have had the same feeling, but I don't know. That it was like watching a reality competition happen before your eyes, and when they were on the final person, I think I've said this on this podcast before, but I'm like, is it bad that my heart is like pounding right now?
Yeah,
And
no, it's crazy. You kind of end up rooting for people, which is weird.
yeah, they're all so fucking stupid, but then you're like, I like this stupid one.
And not to spoil anything, Kyle, but you may see some returning faces.
Oh my God. Jesus Christ. All right, well, cool. HBO Max, F-Boy
Yeah.
Island.
Yeah, check it out.
Get it, bro.
Mhm.
All right. So, Matt, the Callisto Protocol.
The Callisto Protocol is sick. It's crazy. It's the spiritual successor to Dead Space, a game that hasn't had any kind of sequels in a long time. The last one was Dead Space 3, which I think wasn't really well taken by the fans there of all of them. So from there, apparently EA's like, we can't continue with this. And they're like, well, I mean, there's a fan base for it. I mean, now they're finally coming out with a reboot of it, which is really cool. So that's going to be exciting. That's coming out like next month. But in the meantime, to hold everybody over, there's a Callisto Protocol. And it's essentially the same thing. Yeah, except instead of it being a spaceship that gets taken over by an alien, it's an entire like prison.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, nuts. You get to see like all the inmates get infected and everything, and it's got this crazy combat system. And now we're just starting to gather like weapons and everything. Yeah, so it's wild. Like, and combining certain things and just the battle system. I've never really seen a battle system like this where you're just the controller, like the joystick, to maneuver out of the way and like attack somebody. It makes me like a skate mechanic a little bit.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. It's a lot of fun. We were streaming it this past Friday, and it's cool to see how many, like, if you die, there's like a whole bunch of different death animations, and they're all like crazy. So if you die, you don't feel like, oh man, I just died again. You kind of go like, whoa, holy crap, and like it's cool. It's a lot of fun.
And I think there's supposed to be even more as like we get different enemies and everything. Right now, I think we've gone through the cycle of the basic enemies because I think there's like 7 or 10 different death animations that we've seen so far, but I think there's supposed to be a whole lot more.
Yeah, and now we got to the big fat guy. The big fat guy who's very different. He does the curb stomps and stuff.
Wow.
Crazy. It's really cool.
I'm looking up images of it. Is that supposed to be Gwendolyn Christie? Like, is she like a lead character in it?
You know who's in there? Kimiko from The Boys.
I saw another picture that looked like her.
Oh.
Yeah, that's her. They mocapped her into the game.
Yeah. No.
I'm excited to see what her role is.
Yeah, that's a mystery right now. And I mean, the game isn't even really supposed to be like super duper long. It's, from what I'm reading, it's pretty linear.
Yeah.
But it's like 9 to like what, 11-hour, 14-hour gameplay if you do all the additional like side stuff.
Yeah. I saw 9 to 14 hours. So yeah.
But it's cool. And then when cinematics, like watching a movie.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. What I look forward to being a PlayStation owner and see these like cinematic quality games, like insane. It's like what they're capable of. So this is a game that you're very much looking forward to, and it lives up to your hype.
Yeah, so far I love horror games, and plus it mixes in like one of my favorite concepts from any horror movie, The Thing. Like I love The Thing, and that's essentially what this is.
Is the whole game taking place inside of a prison?
Yeah, yep. So it's a very large prison. Yeah.
Oh.
I'd love to see it like fleshed out more in a sequel. Like I feel like if it gets like greenlit for a sequel, they could really like make it colossal.
Yeah, right. I guess you get to see where the story takes and what note they end on. Be like, oh shit, they're gonna go. It's gonna be like Jurassic World. Be like, this is the one where they're gonna branch out, and they'll be back in the prison.
Yeah.
Well,
They'll be in.
They'll be in the prison yard.
if you guys want to see us playing it, we're playing it on stream, and that's the game that we're gonna be playing till we beat. So
Mhm.
that's what we're tackling right now.
Mhm.
Is a prison a space prison? Is it
Yep.
like a spaceship or is it like on a planet?
Yeah, it's a
Space-
giant space prison.
On a planet. Yeah, and there's robots. So the robots also will hunt
yeah.
too. So it's not just aliens, but apparently, like the communications between the robots get mixed up. So now they're trying to like contain everything and quarantine or eliminate everybody because once the whole thing went out of control, your guy wakes up, and of course the jail's gotten crazy all of a sudden, like out of the blue, because of them experimenting on the inmates. From there, now it's just like trying to clear house. So the security guards, I feel like, are trying to also. I don't even know how many other security guards we're going to run into, but we ran into one so far, and that guy was just like, "Yep,
Wow.
I just have to survive." Then lo and behold, doesn't make it out. Oof, it's nuts.
It looks really
Yeah.
cool.
But the thing that confuses me though is like why they necessarily threw them in the prison anyway,
Yeah.
especially if this guy is a criminal. But I guess like you have to listen to the podcasts that are like the story behind it on like the scene setting and everything. Because who knows, maybe they were criminals, but I don't know. Right now, it's just like you crashed on this planet, you're going to jail, and it's like,
Oh.
I wonder if it's also like a mode of transport, and in between transport, they don't want to like risk you being free, so they just like even in a transport situation, they kind of want you to be locked up in case you're a bad guy.
mm,
That's what I got from the impression of like the main character, because they
Mm.
weren't like, this guy's bad, because they talked to him pretty casually, like
Mhm.
when they first found him. So
he's like, I don't belong here, and it's like, well, you're here now, so there you go.
come on the ship.
Yeah, let us plant this thing into your neck without sedation.
Yeah. Yes, I just saw a clip online too where like showing how different combat can be, and like people said that you could play this game like a fighting game, which is nuts. I'll send you guys the clip in the group chat.
Interesting.
Awesome.
It's nuts like how combat can get, especially because at first you're tackling like one or two enemies, and like you think, oh man, these guys are hard, what the hell, like these guys are killing me. Yeah. And then later on they're sending like 3, 4, 5, 6, and you're like, like you have to figure out how to handle it as you get the new like weapons and stuff as well.
So it's like a combination of like hand to hand, shoot 'em up, some crazy sci-fi shit.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's impressive. I mean, like, are these games based off books? Are they based off like are they just brand new creative ideas intended for the video game setting, like medium, I should say?
Yeah, I think it's just the branch off from Dead Space because it's the main guy that made the original game. So
Yeah,
I think he
it's
just
like
went on with the idea. But just because once it's trademarked or copyrighted, they can't really just be like, "All right, I'm going to make Dead Space 4."
isn't that like what Bungie did with Halo? I mean, is that what Destiny was?
Destiny, yeah.
It like Destiny, I felt looked like Halo, but I think it was a completely different vibe.
Yeah.
It wasn't like the multiplayer where it's like it's fast-paced shooter between other players. It just felt like shooting other AI. And I don't know. I mean, I know people got addicted to that game, but I never really understood the appeal because it just seemed like you're replaying the same missions over and over. And I'm like, what? This is the game I made it about.
I heard it was a really good game too. I never gave it. I gave it like a shot, but even when I picked it up, like people had been playing for a long time already too. So they're like, "Oh, I'm level this. Like I'm just gonna carry you through these missions," and I'm like, "That's not fun for me." It's like I want to be able to still like play and whatever, but whatever.
Nice. So
Rachel,
ha-
sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
no.
Rachel,
Please.
really quick, did you see that Geralt is now in Fortnite?
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, he's in the new season pass. I just want to give you the update.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Been playing more Sonic Frontiers. That's what I call it, Frontiers.
Frontiers.
Yeah. I know Tony and Rachel. Rachel mostly just didn't get motion sick to this one. Only
Yeah,
got
I mean,
more.
I did get motion sick, but not as intense.
Yeah. See previous
So I'll
episode.
give it that. I
Yeah.
still got sick, but like it was manageable.
Like she was able to play it.
Yeah, I was able to play it, but like afterwards, it took me like an hour or
Dang.
so to feel better. To be honest,
I haven't beaten the game just yet, but I think I'm very close at this point. I was playing a little bit this morning because I had to bring my parents to the airport, and I was like, I'm not going back to sleep. I'll just play some Sonic until we're ready to podcast. And I just gave what's her name, Sage, the hearts, and I beat the like the mini game of black and white pew, 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 to open up thing and get a Chaos Emerald. So I'm like, I don't know if there's a lot left after that, or if I'm like about to face the final boss or something. I don't know. Whatever. I guess we'll see.
I was gonna say, which island are you on? I'm trying to remember. Is that
The one you need Sage hearts.
the one? What?
The one where you give Sage the hearts.
Oh, I think that might be the last island.
Yeah, whatever. So, yeah, I'm like, they're running out of characters because apparently a lot of characters aren't in this game so far. Anyway, so what was I getting at? I actually wanted to focus a second on like you beat the game very quickly, right?
Mhm.
And I mean, sure, you're a much better gamer than I am. That goes without saying. But I wanted to focus on the cat fishing part that you didn't even
yes,
find.
we didn't even find it.
So I did more fishing a couple of days ago.
How was that?
And the fishing was so fruitful. Like I think this is my third time fishing with Big the Cat, and it's like it's dull. You catch silly fun things that are like that's kind of funny. And sometimes you catch a fucking tuna. I don't know. It's like a really realistic looking, like almost realistic looking fish. And other times it's like you caught a Sonic spring. Like I don't know. But then this last time, it was so fruitful. It started giving me like so many like redeemable, whatever the currency is, token things. And to the point where you get to redeem it for like anything, basically. You could get those gear tools to activate the portals. You could redeem it for those like whether it's Tails, Knuckles, Amy, or Sage, those things that you feed to them and they go yum 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 yum.
Yeah.
Or you could redeem it for power-ups, whether it's like the one that you get for speed and coin increases, or the power defense ones.
Oh wow.
So I started just going button mashing on power defense and the speed and ring balance ones.
That's true.
Like I insanely powered myself up. Like I think my like stats jumped from like 30 to like 90 or something like that from like maybe like a 20-minute fishing session with Big the Cat. And that's the nice one, because when you visit that guy to get powered up, they do it instantaneously. They just bump you up to everything. When you want to increase your speed and ring thing, they only let you do it one jump at a time. And so I think I was there for like, I don't know how long. I think like half my life. Just boosting it up, and it's still going. Like I could still increase my speed and velocity. I mean, my speed and ring balance whenever I want.
Wow. I definitely got sicker the faster he ran. Like I was like, it was amping up to like I'm gonna vomit. Like,
only when he boosts, right?
Only when he boosts, I'm like literally can't look at the screen.
Yeah. So I'm still like I could probably increase my stats forever at this rate, and I have so many more fishing purple tokens. If I want to like,
we got so many tokens that I was like, what are these purple tokens? Yeah, I was like, where is Big the Cat? I was like, this is ripping me off. I'm so angry.
You're missing some dull ass fishing sessions, but then they pay off in a ridiculous ways where like I don't even need to like beat these mini bosses and get these gear tools. Like
Wow.
I
Yeah.
get, man. But yeah, I was curious what you thought of like, or what everyone who's played this game so far thinks of like the mechanics, like the new, I think new things that they incorporate into Sonic games in terms of like how he kind of like focuses on things. You could like dash at stuff, the fighting.
Yeah, so I think I like the side loop ability a lot. I think that's a really cool way to incorporate like the 3D environment for Sonic. The combat itself, I enjoy the combat. I wasn't sure what I would think of the combat, but I do feel at the same time that like with the enemies, they should have it so that different attacks do different things. Because sometimes I feel like I just spam like one type of attack, even though you have all these other options for all these other abilities, and I'm like, I don't really use that. So I think there's even an option for like an auto, what's it like?
Combo.
What they call it? Yeah, auto combo. And I just put that on because I'm like, I don't know which ones to use. I'm just gonna hit the attack button and let it figure it out for me. But I think like that's something they could have done was like have different enemies get attacked in different ways, so that way you're like, oh, I got to think about what attack I'm going to use on this guy and then this guy. But so that's one thing. The light speed dash is on like just clicking the left stick, and I messed that up so many times. I think that should be fixed to like either one of the bumpers or something like that.
Yeah, I feel like that goes hand in hand with I don't know if it's this because I have it for the Switch and the Switch controller is always faulty, where it's like you're not even holding it and he starts walking to the left or something like
Drifting.
that. So it's like I can't even like run in a straight line when I play this game. If like if it's a 3D environment and all I need to do is go straight, I'm going to run right off the edge and die. Like it's just a certainty.
Whenever I use the lightspeed dash in that game, Sonic goes sideways and he collects the rings left and right, and he doesn't get the row rings. I don't know if that happens to anybody else, but it's constant with me.
Oh,
I'm
man.
like, why is he literally zigzags? I'm like, what the hell is going on? This isn't working.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that those are like the mechanics of it were like the thing that I thought was like the fascinating thing. Like I feel like they put a lot into it, and like I've gotten more and more used to it. Like I think I'm only like now like, oh, okay, I'm used to this game now that it's like I'm maybe close to finished with it. So what about like the story of the game? I feel like I don't care.
So that's what I was talking about before the other podcast. Where I think if you were partnered with a character the whole time and you were going to like develop the character as you're playing the game, I think that would have made you care more about like what was going on with those characters. The other thing is the like the main plot. I think as you're playing through the game, you're like confused about what the main plot is in terms of you have like the whole Sage situation, then you have the island situation, then you have the Titan situation. And though they're connected in a sense, I feel like they're also seem like separate elements of what's going on in the plot. So I feel like, but I think that goes back again to the problem of you have to collect these character tokens to give the character tokens to the character so that you can actually have cutscenes happen, which makes the game feel more empty because now it's like, okay, I could get the emeralds. I might not even need to collect the character tokens for this character. So it's like, I think that makes the plot seem more airy, like it's not meaty.
Yeah, because then you just kind of get back to it. Yeah, sorry.
No, you're good. I guess because I got the digital whatever version that you get, it came with like emerald tokens already too.
Yeah.
So does that just mean I don't have to play the game?
Up to a point.
You don't have to, you don't get to.
No, that's true. They took away my privileges.
And Alex, was it I don't know, I forget if it was on your Discord or if it was on Twitter. It's like they are planning some extra content for the game at no cost.
Yeah. There's supposed to be like a whole pass that they're doing where it's over time you're gonna get like challenge mode. You're gonna get like new playable characters. There's some new story thing that's gonna be in there. So I'm excited to see how that's gonna be because it looks like they teased playing as Tails. So I was like, all right, awesome. I'll then I'll beat the whole game in a day. So yeah, I'm excited.
I would have beaten in a day if I could have. Yeah, it'll be like a completely different game. Being able to play with someone who hopefully has different kind of like a whole set of different characteristics and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely interested to see how they would implement Tails' like flying into the game.
Totally.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Rachel's back because she's got optimism corner facts, perhaps.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm getting there, guys. I'm getting there.
No, our dog keeps opening my door, and I don't know how he keeps doing it, and he keeps pushing it and slamming it into the wall. So I had to actually physically lock the door for him not to come in.
Matt?
But yeah,
What
What if he's an anamorph?
yeah, could be.
When's that coming back?
Yeah, good point. Was it ever really here? All right. So, are you guys ready for facts?
Oh, so ready.
Hmm.
All right, guys.
Let's do it.
So only have one, unfortunately, but I do have one. The reason why we leave out milk and cookies for Santa. Oh, by the way, it's Christmas related. And welcome to the Optimism Corner.
You know
I'm
what?
going backwards.
You're very smart because I forgot what day it is, and oh my God, it's around that time.
Yes,
I
it
can't tell
is.
from up here.
Yes, it is. So the Dutch are the reason why we leave out milk and cookies. It pretty much came from St. Nicholas feast day on December 6th. The Dutch children would leave food out in exchange for gifts from him. And yeah, that's where we get milk and cookies from. And
Oh.
presents are,
Santa.
I have one more. Presents are actually most Christmas things are pagan related, but yeah. So that's it.
Very good.
Mm-hmm. Not my desk, but it's here.
Well, I could probably
Wow.
fall asleep to that sound. The light snapping.
So isn't Santa Claus like the weird like somewhere between Schweinterklaus and Saint Nicholas, and between is like Santa Claus or
Except
something?
Saint Nicholas wasn't jolly. He gave gifts. He was generous, but he wasn't a happy guy apparently. So where we get hot, generous and hot jolly is beyond me. Probably that's where the
Sultan
Yeah.
Strokelis, yes.
see.
Yeah. So Alex didn't watch Batwoman, but we have this playing catch up portion where it's kind of like the previous section where we just talk about shit that we watched, but it's shit that we're like, you should watch this, you might enjoy this, or like this is something I've been meaning to watch for a while. And I didn't want to neglect the fact that the movie Smile, Tony and Rachel watched it, so wanted to hear what they had to say.
I liked the movie up until the end.
This was the movie I was told that I would like, right?
Yeah, I think
Was it?
so.
Yeah. I didn't love the reason why I didn't love the ending. No spoilers. I'm not spoiling it, I guess. Is that they showed the monster, and I was like, game over. I was like, you already lost me as soon as you showed the monster. I was like, it should be like Smile was like at least advertised to me as like, oh, it's a faceless, nameless entity that just could be anywhere or anything, or at least that it was marketed to everybody. I feel like I didn't want it to be like a physical entity. I wanted it to be like, I don't know,
So
nameless.
I was under the impression that was for them specifically.
Yeah.
So not necessarily the same monster for everybody or the same thing that everybody sees. Or at least that was my impression. But maybe that's too Silent Hilly of me.
Yeah, like I wanted like if the guy drew all the drawings, the teacher, I wanted him, he showed the picture of just a face, the smiling face. That would have made more sense than showing me a monster that I can't relate to. Like, I would not relate to, but, you know, like, I'm like, where did this come in? I feel like the ending was just like 8 people had ideas and they went like this. And they're like, let's just show all of them. It would have been, you know, smarter for it to be like, you know, her to go through that sequence and it just to be like, just kidding, it's in your head. And then she's like, oh my God, the guy walks in and she has just a smile and then it goes blank. I was like, I feel like that would have been enough to be like, okay, we know what happens. You can't stop this thing. Like almost like the first Insidious. I feel like they did that. I don't know if you've seen the first Insidious. The first, anybody?
Yep, I've seen all of them. I love it.
I feel like the first Insidious did that very well, where it was just like that kind of, as far as I remember, it was that kind of like cut off, where it was like, you don't really need to show what really happens because we all know what happens. You know, it's left like, I feel like that would have been a better ending than the mess that was. Other than that, the premise was very good. It was a scary concept for it to be all around. I like the camera work in the very beginning very much. I was telling Tony, I feel like that camera work is trying to make you feel like it's there, like that camera is supposed to be what it is, and the way that it could just go like anywhere kind of makes you feel like that monster can just be anywhere if it really wanted to be. So that's what threw me off at the end, is like, it can't, it's a physical thing. Like I was like, okay, so I don't know.
I like
that other than that.
the movie a lot. I like the monster and everything. I thought it was fine, the monster being there. I feel like the movie is powerful because it really emphasizes the psychological condition, when it comes to mental illness or even just having anxiety. Like that's what it seemed like in the long run. It
reminded me of It Follows, the movie, the concept of it. It's really just like a shadowing, if nobody's seen it. It's a shadowing of like a sexually transmitted disease. And that's really what that horror movie is. And it's kind of like, you don't really see what it is. That was just my personal opinion. Yeah.
So I think that there could have been a very powerful lesson with the movie that they kind of threw out the window at the end there. I felt like the whole concept of trauma, which is what this movie was about, there was a very good line in there that I don't want to spoil, but she says something to the monster, which I thought, wow, this could be a very powerful thing for like trauma, people going through trauma or had trauma, and they kind of gloss over it and get rid of that, and then just have the ending that they have. Just it almost feels like they only had that ending because, like, oh, it's a horror movie, right? So
when if Kyle watches it, I'll say what me and Matt said at the end, because what happens is very much like, okay, now it's gonna very clearly keep going, because the position that said person is in is like done, past it. Don't need to worry about me.
Right.
Just very simply. It'll be on the news too.
I liked the concept in the movie where, like, this could be a dream, like this could not be happening, like with the sister's house with the birthday party. I was like, this is a dream. Oh my God.
That's
I was like, oh my God, this is a dream. This is not happening. I like that concept that you can't tell the difference between what is real and what isn't.
That's what we were saying when we were watching. We're like, this is a dream sequence. Oh, that's crazy. And then it was like, oh no, that happened. Oh my God.
You're like, oh shit. I know. I was like, oh fuck. As soon as the kid, like,
but I think that's what also helped.
Opened the box, I was like, no, fuck, no.
That's what helped have impact in the movie too. I liked it. I liked it a lot in terms of like the concept and like a lot of the things it pulls off compared to like other horror movies. It's
different. I was like, the story plot is different. That's why I was like expecting, like, I don't know. I had myself up, I think, where I expected a different ending than all other movies do, and then I got the ending that most movies do, and I was like, oh, I was expecting it to be like they marketed so well, the way they marketed the movie, where they would just place people in like ball games doing like the creepy smile and stuff like that. I was like, that is so smart. I was like, I walked in with like too high of expectations for a horror movie, you know?
It's more of a psychological horror than it is like a traditional horror movie or like a slasher film, which is why I think I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I enjoyed it up until, you know, that part that I was talking about. It's fine. It's cool. It's the ending. I didn't deem it as bad as like, you know, all those other La Llorona and whatever movies.
Yeah.
That they were more funny than they were like scary.
Yeah.
I just, you know, you want that breath of fresh air of like a different ending and like, yeah, you know.
And I was going to say, so the other thing that I did enjoy about it was there was like a reason why the monster couldn't hurt you until a certain point. And I feel like a lot of other horror movies don't have that reason. So it's just a lot of scares for no reason at all.
Yep.
Like there's a lot like, so that I think was very well done. But yeah, at the end of the day, I think it could have been a more impactful movie than it ended up being, and it's only because of the ending.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I think it was I think if somebody wants to watch it, they should watch it. I think on Amazon it got like a 4 out of 5. I would deem that okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would have got a 5 out of 5 if the ending was different for me, but
yeah, no,
that's fine.
I would say 4 out of 5 is a good rating. I wouldn't rate it 5 out of 5. I don't think it's perfect at all. But,
yeah, that's why I was like,
I do recommend it to people who like a horror or want like something different from a horror movie, at least in terms of like the build up.
I think I only had one more thing throughout the whole entire movie I wish they had was more people, like regular people, having that smile on their face. Like I wish it was like she was walking by and she saw somebody with that, you know, like they didn't incorporate it enough for like he puts on, you know, people's faces kind of thing. Like they didn't incorporate it like, oh, I see a person in a crowd, the way they advertised it. Like I see a person in the crowd making that face. That should have been just a little bit more, but not much more, but just like normal walking around like you're at the hospital. That guy should have, her boss should have had that face. You know what I mean? You know, personally, but that's it. That's it. Other than
Kyle,
that,
it looks like our plan worked, dude.
That's right.
That's good. I'm glad. I've been waiting out here just in case he tried to zap out, but you got him.
Oh yeah, I got him, don't I?
And Tony was checking in outer space in case he
Yep.
We've been planning this
I
for a
saw
while.
sled.
Yeah.
For the audio medium, you should really subscribe to the Space Sound
yeah.
Just a little tease there.
Yeah. Up on the rooftop, Alex was there. I don't know how he got his microphone there, but I give him kudos.
Yeah.
Rachel's in like the meme realm.
I'm always here. This is where I live.
Oh no!
This is the beginning of the memes.
Oh
This is
no!
the highest palace you could be in.
Matt's
Right
in the
here.
other room of the same house that Alex is at. Yeah.
Highest room.
All right. Cool. So, thank you for watching this obviously holiday themed episode of Pseudo Adults, everyone. So we'll catch you on episode 157.
Whoa.
Whoa! My God!
Whoa!
Wow! Oh, damn!
God. Well, I'm it.
I'm Alex.
I'm Rachel.
This is Tony.
And I'm Kyle. We are Pseudo Adults.